Hello, everyone. Today is July 15th, 2026. This is the CSI Community Sync meeting. Saad is out today, so I'm helping with this. And uh, I think today, do we mainly just want to get those, there is a two REST CSI Volume Health and the CSI snapshot topology and see if we can get those approved, get the issues resolved. Is that today's agenda?
Yeah, those sound like the most important things. There was a
Oh,
Google Doc about the controller get node info.
but that one is not for this release. So I mean, I think let's get this other two.
Oh, okay, okay.
Wait,
You want to
sorry.
skip that one?
It's not like I when you skip it. It's just I think we need to talk about the other two first because those other two we are targeting for this release, right?
Yeah, yeah, that
So
makes
let's
perfect
get those.
sense.
If we have time, we'll go over the other one. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the what's the all the issues are linked here. It's not linked here. Or only this one is linked here. But anyway, we can go here first. Those two. Yeah, we can look at this one next. I'll just this there are like three things, right? This is this is one, but we should have two other things. So I think we should look at this one first because this we have in tree dependency. So this is the one that is most time sensitive. All right, so Morning House. Mhm. Okay, and and then topology snapshot. Uh, okay, so we should probably where's Haman? Oh, it's not here. Are there any unresolved issues for this? Are you still have any questions that's not addressed, Ben, for
A-
this one? Do
As
you?
of our last review, Hemant was going to make a few changes. I have not checked to see if those changes are in.
Oh, let
Yeah,
me
so
ping. Oh,
I
yeah, Eddie, if you know, I will
yeah,
ping Harmony in the meantime. Yeah, please go ahead.
I reviewed the latest revision, and it does include all the feedback from our last meeting, right? So in our last,
Including the stuff about secrets.
yes,
That was the I think the sticking point with this one.
yeah. So we removed volume health from stats RPC and reserved the fields. We made get required when list is implemented to resolve the pagination issue, so that we don't have to do the two-cycle confirmation logic in Kubernetes. So
Y-
that's
You mean
there.
the capability will imply that get works and you never need to use list, or the other way around.
If if list is implemented, we're making get required.
So there's one capability for both.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Sounds
So we
perfect.
have that, and other than that, yeah. So we're keeping the secrets field and the CSI spec itself, but on the Kubernetes side, we're doing nothing with that field as of right now. I think we need to do some work on the Kubernetes side to flesh that out. But yeah, latest spec does include all the feedback from our last meeting.
Are we doing anything with the secrets for get on the Kubernetes side?
I don't think we have secrets for get. Let me
Wait, what?
double.
We always have secrets. Like that's what makes this such a mess, is that you have to have secrets for every call for
Oh,
for the SPs that require secrets. And Kubernetes doesn't have a consistent way of handling them. So every time we add a new call, we add new secrets, and then it turns into a big pain. That's the fundamental tension that we have to do something about.
Yeah, on the Kubernetes side, I mean, I'm actively reviewing the KKPR, and no, we're not doing anything with secrets.
Okay, so does the get? I have it open. Let
are
me
you
see.
saying? I will just okay, just check. Okay, so I see that he
There are
added
secrets for the
there is
get health
secret.
request.
So okay, so this one we have that. Yeah. So there is a
So
list.
you're saying Kubernetes won't even supply secrets for get.
Yep, correct.
So
See.
the issue there will be someone will show up who has an SP that needs secrets to do anything, and they'll say, well, unless you pass in a secret, like we can't implement this, and they'll effectively be locked out of this feature, at least in the alpha time frame. Maybe
So
that's
I see.
okay.
So okay, hold on. So I see that both these RPCs have secrets added. You saying added, they are not in Kubernetes, but it's just in CSI. Is that what you're trying to say? I did not. Oh, okay. Oh, is that Herman? 630? I think that's probably Herman.
I
Okay,
need to
good.
log out and join as
Oh
different rooms.
no,
Just give me a sec.
that's okay. No problem. You
And
don't
I
have to. Huh? No, it's okay. I don't know why. It's 630 is okay. You can actually rename as well. But anyway, so okay. If it's just here, I think sometimes in some other places, we are like adding it as my notation. We get it that way. I remember, I think for snapshots, I think we are getting something like that. Not like a first class field.
We
So
were
the
putting
adding,
annotations on the storage class, and that storage class would give you a template. The annotation on the storage class would give you a template by which you could generate the name of the secret to go get. But we had to create a new annotation for every single feature, and it was getting insane because we had like more than 10.
yeah, that's right. Sorry, I had to switch my.
So
I
so
think
so that we could just add more for this feature and just do what we've always done, but like it's getting unmanageable.
so. I think that like I don't know, the proper way probably is to move to a config ba map based approach, but I don't know how like a dedicated config map that could hold the secret. But then we have problem that what if people want per PV secrets, then a config map common approach doesn't help. But it's like,
Well, you also need a way to specify a secret on the Kubernetes side. You can have per PV secrets, but you want to be able to say, use this secret for all of the calls related to this PV. So even when we add a new call, if we're using a certain secret for expand or attach or whatever, and then we add this new health feature, you just use the same secret. Like there needs to be a way to say that on the Kubernetes side, like this is the secret associated with this volume and pass it to all the CSI calls associated with that volume. And
yeah.
then some SPs that need that secret can do their job correctly.
So uh if we added something like that, then if the SP wants per volume, then they will be like they will do. Sorry, I missed the part. Then what will be the correct thing to do in that case? It
Well,
seems the correct.
today, you can
Hmm,
put in your storage class a bunch of annotations that
right.
include a template so that the PV name will be substituted in for each one of those secrets. And then you can have like 8 different annotations that are all the same, that point to the same secret. But then
Yeah.
if we add a ninth annotation, you don't get it for free. You have to go modify your storage class to add that ninth annotation. And it just gets crazy. So there needs to be a way to say all of them just are the same, or
Yeah.
some default secret that just gets used if there isn't something that overrides it.
Yeah.
And that has to be templatizable so that you can have per PV secrets.
Yeah, but then it has to be used for all the RPC calls. It will not be per type, or like it has to be
No,
templatized
no, no,
in a way.
you can have type ones and you can have a fallback if there is no one that overrides it. And that addresses most of the problems. The only one you're left with then is what do you pass into list? Because list doesn't have a specific PV
Yeah.
or a snapshot on if we're talking about snapshots. So then you got to ask, well, what if the SP needs a secret for list? Then what do you pass in? And we just need
Yeah,
to comprehensively address, like, for all of the different secrets that we might need to supply, how does Kubernetes know which one to get?
yeah, and more
It,
generally, we actually need to solve this problem too for even the existing list volumes. RPC doesn't have a secrets field in the spec.
Yeah, list doesn't have, I think list snapshot does have So yeah.
It looks like nobody needs it since it's been out for so long. If there's
Well,
yeah.
when list volumes was initially introduced, it was not used. Then later we started using it for getting the list of published nodes.
I thought it was
And
introduced
and
before that.
and
Uh, was that not? Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
like
Right.
the
I think
external
you're right.
attacher
Yeah,
uses it.
initially it was not using. Yeah.
So at the time we initially added it, no one
Mhm.
complained because
Mhm.
it was not necessary. And then when we started using it, still nobody complained because maybe that feature is not too important.
I think but I think that no, that feature is being used, right? It just looks like nobody needs secret for that.
Yeah, but
For
I'm
the
saying
Uh,
if you don't implement that feature, your cluster still works for the most part. It just can't reconcile
uh,
attachments as,
it ca-
as
it can't reconcile out of band detaches and things like
yes,
that.
yes,
Like
out of band attaches.
yeah,
And so if your SP has a different way of reconciling those, then you can get away with not caring.
yeah. So uh like many of the main like the mainstream Kubernetes, the cloud like storage providers do implement it, but like AWS, GCP, vSphere, I think these implement it. I don't know
yeah, but
out in the wild.
we don't use secrets there. So I
Yeah,
mean,
we don't use.
not the same way. Yeah, but Ceph usually use secrets, right? I remember they are
Yeah.
adding a lot of secrets, but
Yeah.
they don't
So
not
for
using list volume somehow maybe.
and for all of these entry, like the one that were being replaced with entry to CSI, they all actually use same secret for all the operations. So they have different secrets in PV spec only in the name only. Like okay, it just checks a box, but they don't really use different secret for different operations in practice, as far as I know. Like looking at
Right, right. But the sidecars still look for a different annotation.
yeah, the
And we keep adding new
sidecars.
annotations. And so if we add a new feature here and a new annotation, like it will initially be broken until people go add that annotation to their cluster.
So is the main concern like about this one like secret handling? Anything else that is outstanding? Like I
I,
don't know. Yeah.
no, no. We decided at a previous meeting that for alpha, it's okay for secrets to not be well handled because it's not a
Yeah.
crucial part of this. It's not a crucial part of this feature.
Yeah.
But it just keeps reminding us that we have this problem that we've never addressed.
Yeah, we
So
can.
it's
So
worth
when we
talking about
approve,
it.
yeah, when we take beta, I think at that point, like we can use a release cycle to actually move things forward and do something about it. I guess in this release, it's too late to touch on secrets. And but next release, like we can come up with a design and keep the feature in alpha still, and then implement something for
Yeah,
secrets in the
as
next
long as
release.
we agree that like when someone shows up and says, "Hey, I can't implement this feature because I need a secret," and you didn't put the code in the Kubernetes side, we say, "Well, that was intentional, right?
Yeah,
We're not going to do that for alpha." It was Portworx were the people that cared most about per volume secrets
yeah,
when Portworx was more heavily involved years ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
That means that means it's okay, but I mean in CSI spec, I mean will add this. It's just exactly how to handle it. We maybe the document can be changed later. Is that
Yeah, I mean, from a CSI perspective, we're doing the right thing. From the
okay?
Kubernetes perspective, we're kicking the can down the road.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
So I can live with that.
okay. All right. So in that case, we are pretty much good with merging the stand, Ben.
I want to do a once over on the PR, but yeah, I'm happy
Okay.
to approve it if I don't find anything.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and the Kubernetes PIR is complete, at least in the sense like it has not just API but the implementation as well. I see Eddie and other people are reviewing the Kubernetes PIR as well. So yeah, it's like it's not the CSI spec PR doesn't exist in vacuum. That's what I meant to say. It has actual implementation to back it up. Cool.
All right. So that's good. We can move on. Uh, Snapshot topology. Uh, oh, Raphael, have you addressed all the concerns from Ben?
Yes, I have. Since then, I made a small change to the error, like it was an error code that was previously listed as 13 and it's supposed to actually be 8. I had
Mm.
added previously an entry to it, but then somebody actually fixed it, so I just updated the
Oh,
spec
so we should
accordingly.
get this
Um,
merged then. This one's not.
but yeah, but besides that, I believe all the feedback has been addressed and that should be good to look at.
So have there been any reviews from Saad or James?
I don't think
No.
I don't think they reviewed this.
Okay. James sometimes hops in and offers helpful feedback. Um,
Yeah.
But James is
Saad
pretty
also
hard
does.
to. Yeah, Saad. Yeah, Saad might be good if we can get Saad to review this. But I don't know how to even get hold of James to say that.
Yeah.
That's
We have
the
an email address for James, but I mean he doesn't really work in the Kubernetes in the storage industry anymore, so we're just sort of relying on his goodwill to show up. Um,
Yeah.
but Ben, from your point of view, are you most
I will do reviews, but we
okay?
typically don't merge something with just one
Oh yeah, yeah, of
approver. We
course.
typically have two. That's what I'm
Let me
getting
look
at.
at
I'm happy to be one of them. We
yeah.
should look for a second reviewer.
You can ask Saad or
Uh, yeah.
for the volume health as
Or
well, right? Saad, yeah.
yeah, same for volume health, I guess. I think the uh okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Who do we reach out to for that second review? Because we have code freeze coming up next Wednesday, I think. And we need to.
Yeah, for this repo, I think we only have Saad, Ben, and
And James.
James.
Yeah.
James is
Hey,
not even active. Yeah.
so if other people do reviews and provide feedback and approve it, like I'm happy to go without Saad or James if we must.
Okay.
As long as
I
we have
can.
other
Yeah. Let
strong
me take a look.
reviewers looking at it.
Let me
But
take a look. Yeah, because we have been,
the formal structure of the CSI uh, community is a real mess because we never got it legally sorted out, and it
yeah,
looks like we
because a
never
lot of
will.
them they're not active anymore, right? They are although their
Yeah,
names
yeah. When
is
the
really
foundation was
yeah
founded,
yeah
it was power was divided 25% amongst like four companies, and like three of those companies have evaporated.
yeah
And so
yeah.
we
It's
like
no
legally
longer
we can't
yeah
fix it now.
yeah
So we're just moving forward on a best effort basis.
yeah okay. I'll help
We can
review.
I think we should maybe ask Saad about what he thinks is the like the going forward,
Yeah,
the how the
we
yeah,
we
the
should.
CSI
I think it
how the
makes
CS
sense to add some approvers from Kubernetes CSI, right? Because
Well,
that's people who
but
are
the
who care about this.
structurally the CSI organization needs to be reformed. And if we were to get like CFNC to absorb it or take it over and provide governance, like that would be a huge help. But like no one has ever had the time to pursue that. Um,
yeah. Mm, yeah. I think that's a long term.
CNCF. I meant
Yes,
CNCF.
yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
then
Yeah.
yeah, then I mean, we could, right? We already have multiple vendors. If we want, we could do that, right? But we need to talk to Saad about this, right? I think it's it's been like this. I mean, I think it is an open source community. So if Saad and you are fine with adding more approvers from other companies, then I
Well,
believe
but
I
based on the
believe we can decide.
bylaws, we have to dissolve the existing CSI
Oh, I see.
organization and start a new one and just take over the code and bless the new organization. That's the only way to do it without violating the bylaws.
Why?
So
Sorry. Which one? Uh,
Yeah,
bec
so they have when they started this one, they're saying there were like
there were four companies
four
and
CEOs, basically
decisions needed to be
Docker,
made by a
Docker,
majority of.
Mesos.
Yeah.
Um, I can be
So,
the one, the original VMware one. That's like the one. What is that?
it's a CO. It's a
Uh,
CO vendor. It's not a
I know,
uh
but that part kind of get also absorbed into VMware that part. So Okay, let's talk to, let's talk, okay, let's not, this is not the topic.
Yeah, that's a separate topic. We
That's
don't need to
something
go
else.
into.
Governance is different, yeah. We just right now, so for this, if I think SAD is still reviewing, right? So if SAD is okay, then usually SAD will help with this, even if we can, let's say if we can't find James, SAD
Mhm.
still can help review this, yeah, because he's still familiar with all of this.
All right. I will CC then you, Ben, and Sodom.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, and no, the last one.
Wait, there's a third one?
This is okay.
Oh, yeah,
This
this
one,
one.
right? So okay, let's see if we
Or
have
we have Wei-Wen, right? I
we
thought I
have
saw him.
Wei-Wen. Yeah, so let's see if we can get this resolved now. You want to go ahead with the Wei-Wen? Well, Ben, who want to talk about this?
Yeah, and in the last meeting that we actually mostly agree on on the approach that we add another field to the node get info, right? And but I think that is okay to me, but I still have another, yeah, there's a Google Doc on this.
Should we
Yeah,
look at the
I,
Google Doc?
yeah, I provided feedback on that Google Doc. The the summary of my opinion is that we we try to reduce impact on existing implementations because there are dozens of active implementations of SPs and probably more than 100 existing implementations, some not maintained. And so like we want to minimize the change that all of those SPs need to implement to remain compliant. That's our main goal. So adding an optional field to an existing RPC is way less impact than adding a new RPC, um, even though it's arguably a little bit less clean for the future. It it will work and it will minimize impact on existing implementations, which is my priority.
Yeah, I don't get it. So if we have a new RPC and existing implementation, uh, I don't they can completely ignore this one if they don't want to implement this feature.
Yes, but the implementations that are maintained typically want to implement every new capability, even if just to check a box. And
Yeah.
the optional field allows them to implement that capability for free, without having to add a new RPC. Adding a new RPC that does a subset of an existing RPC will just make every developer's head explode. They'll be like, why do we have an RPC that does less when we already implemented this? I mean, we know like there's an complicated reason why, but adding a Boolean field to the existing RPC that they can just ignore lets them continue using the existing RPC, and I think it makes more sense
Yeah,
in
but
terms of backwards compatibility.
for this feature to work, they nevertheless they will need to implement the new controller side RPC. So that is one
It,
RPC or two, not 0 or 1.
right. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but but that new RPC might be a no-op in their implementation or just a copy of their existing implementation. It will at least be new functionality, not like a new RPC that does less than what the existing RPC does.
Yeah, so yeah, my largest concern is the like scale the extensibility in the future. So as you can see, this is a new workflow that is maybe completely separated from the existing one.
On
And
the
we
CO
need
side
to,
or on this SP side?
yeah, I think mostly on the CO side, I think,
Yeah.
because CO
Yeah, the
should
CO
check
will check the
the
capability, and if it has the capability, it'll do something completely different. And if it doesn't, it'll just do what it currently does.
yeah, yeah. And I'm thinking about maybe we can add a like node context that is a map which can hold arbitrary context that we pass from node to controller. Yeah, so this may be the thing that is not fit into the old node get info, but it may fit the new RPC on node side.
Yeah, I like that idea in theory. I think we have to think through it in detail if we actually want to propose that, because something in the back of my mind says that we did propose this before and there was a problem and I can't remember what it was. So we need to think carefully about that. But I'm hopeful that if we can make that work, it is way more powerful uh, to have just a node context that that is supplied by the node that gets passed around everywhere. Um, I really like that idea,
Yeah,
and I can't remember why we thought that it might not work. Um,
yeah. So by adding a new RPC, we at least leave it the room for the new field.
no, I think if we were to go down that path, we would just continue extending node get info, perhaps with more optional fields. Um,
Yeah.
because the intention is not to like deprecate node get info ever, right? And say that we're actually
Yes.
removing it. We want to
Yes.
keep it around forever for those that can implement things that way. And so my hope would be we could just keep extending it with more fields until we found one where you actually needed a separate RPC that did something novel.
Yeah. Yeah, so mm, so if we ever add the new, for example, node context to the node get info, then there there will SP will need to send more and more info from that response, right? And ID only field name maybe not accurate anymore.
So I'm willing to go through the thought experiment of trying to implement uh, some sort of node context, but we need a concrete proposal to do that around. So if you want to like separately from this proposal, come up with a proposal to do and just think through like, okay, what is the SP providing to the CO? Where's the CO going to store it? How is the information going to travel through the CO back to the controller side of the SP? And
Yes.
just think through all those details concretely, because my my worry is that we'll discover somewhere along there that it just won't work. Because I do feel like this was proposed years ago and we discovered that it wouldn't work and we abandoned the approach, but I just can't remember why. So maybe we'll have to rediscover it. Or
Yeah.
maybe if we look through the history, well, we will find that we wrote down why. But it would have been 3, 4, or 5 years ago or longer that it was discussed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because
If we,
there's
that
always
will
been an
be a
issue where
separate.
the node ID limitation of 128 bytes caused
Yeah.
caused heartburn for people because people wanted to stuff more information into that 128 bytes than could fit. And so we were saying, well, where can we store additional data? And somehow we convinced ourselves that that was the wrong way to do it. Um,
Yeah. We are now actually combining some metadata into the node ID. Yeah.
yeah,
That,
yeah. I mean, because it's the only way for the node to communicate things back to the controller. There's a temptation to stick a lot of information into that ID, and the size limit really affects what you can do.
yeah. And yes, that will be a separate proposal.
Okay, I would like to entertain that proposal when we have something concrete to discuss. Um, and we should definitely bring in Sod for that because he has the memory of, going back to the beginning, why we didn't go down that path before, if there was a good reason.
Mm. And my initial thoughts is that we store this context in the CSI node in Kubernetes. And and almost every sidecar already watching the CSI node. So All of them should have that.
Every sidecar is watching CSI node, not every, but okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think,
Oh, wait. Who's watching the CSI node? I imagine kubelet is. Which sidecars are?
and I'm primarily thinking about the external attacher, which is
It,
which
yeah, the
we
attacher would
are
need to know, but like the resizer and the provisioner wouldn't need to know, would they? Snapshotter wouldn't need to know. It would just be the attacher and kubelet that care
yeah,
about the node.
yeah,
Provisioner, I don't know, may check the topology. I don't know where because it has to decide the topology somewhere.
That's a good point.
yeah. So it should have that.
It might just get it on demand instead of watching it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the main like was this also captured in a cap, by the way?
No, no, this will be a separate proposal. So
It's not. Oh, it is cap 6011. Okay. Oh, I mean like the whole proposal, not the.
The controller get node info was just to solve a specific problem, and I think I proposed against this proposal. We should do something more aggressive and implement a whole node context, which we decided not to do. But as a separate proposal, it still makes sense because it does allow you to do many more powerful things, if we can figure out how to do it.
yeah. So so we will have a proposal on top of another proposal.
Well, I mean, they can just be two separate proposals, unless you want to delay the controller get node info uh, design until we've solved that other problem. Like we can pursue them in parallel. I just for the controller get node info, I feel pretty strongly that we want to just minimize impact to existing SPs and do the thing that is simplest. And the optional field seems to be the lowest impact way to just get it to work and solve the problems that you've raised.
Yeah, so maybe we should rename the ID only field.
Yeah,
That
I don't have strong feelings about the specific name. That was just something that popped into my head.
yeah,
But the crucial piece is that an existing SP can just ignore it and it will work fine.
yeah. So maybe basically we should add a field to inform SP that whether or not the controller node get info will be called or not.
Sorry, that was I'm forgetting some context. So that was field to be added in Ben. It was to be added in node get info response.
Node get info request. The
Yeah,
the the, the CO would have to specify that like I am only interested in your node ID. I'm not going to pay attention to your limits or your topology because I'm going to get those through the controller. So that older versions of Kubernetes will just ignore that field. It'll be false. The SP knows an older version of Kubernetes is talking to it and can behave appropriately. And newer versions of Kubernetes can check the capability and then say, hey, I see that you have the capability and I'm going to call controller get node info. So you don't need to provide me topology or limits from node get info,
yeah.
right?
And CO should ignore the returned topology and the volume count
Yeah,
provided.
we can put that. We can say if the CO specifies true for this field, it must not use the return values from yada yada to do anything. We can put that language in there to make it clear.
Yeah. Yes. And this is also also troubles me. That means we basically should change the meaning of each field to to yeah to consider in this new field.
Well, there's only two fields that would be affected, and yeah, we can add text that says if ID only input is true, then this output is ignored or something. But like if we ever add a fourth or a fifth field in the future, we will have to decide are those fields also ignored if this input is true. And, we just have to figure that out. And we can write down whatever we want when we add those new fields.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I think the crucial thing is like this API is not called frequently. It's called by kubelet, and
Yeah.
and we don't intend to deprecate it ever at this point. So we should just keep using it and expanding it in a way that's backwards compatible and forwards compatible.
Yeah.
And it'll just get a little hairy, but I don't know how to fix that in a backwards compatible way.
and this, like the proposal, and not this here, this one, but the Kubernetes proposal will also change things like the immutable CSI node, all that stuff that Eddie worked on, because like if it is available from the controller, then the controller should mutate that object. So it has to be.
But there was no CSI change associated with that, right? Like did we
mm,
decide that the
no, no,
existing
no,
language of
no, no, no.
no?
Yeah, there was no CSI change for that. It's just that I think we'll have to like
Yeah.
find a way to disable it, right? If the controller is updating it frequently.
If the control is updating what?
The
The,
topology and the and
and
the
the one count.
volume limit. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do
How
you
does
mean
that
disable?
the mutable topology is so if the topology changes,
No, no,
Um,
no. It was generally for the allocatable count, actually, not for topology itself, but it made the CSI node allocatable count mutable, so it gets polled by kubelet frequently by reading the plugin,
oh
and
yeah,
then
that one does. But we also have a separate proposal to make topology mutable.
no, no.
it's
I think
not
no.
in Kubernetes, at least it doesn't. There is probably a proposal,
It's
but
a
it's not
proposal. I didn't think it was in yet, but we
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
Is-
talking about it because we had examples of volumes where you might modify the volume in a way that would fundamentally change its topology.
we have
And
that, right? That's alpha feature. It's already there, right? That's the event.
No, it just
Why the
makes
plugin?
I think the alpha feature, it just makes the PV objects the topology mutable. It doesn't,
yeah, that's what I meant. That the topology of the PV is mutable.
yeah.
Um, and
But it's
so
not been like wired into any CSI RPC calls or anything yet. Correct me.
yeah, I don't think it needs
Yeah.
to be. Oh, right. So
Yeah.
so we're talking now about the topology of the node, not the topology of the volume. So yeah, if both are changing, that would be kind of wild. Um,
Yeah, so yeah, the node topology is still static.
Mm-hmm. Is the allocatable count that is changing, and that feature has to be moved to control plane when it is
Ye-
when this new.
Yeah, so that's our proposal, right? Because right now, kubelet is the one like responsible for periodically calling node get info to get the updated attachment limit. So when you're opting into this feature, we need like external attacher to be the one to then call this controller get node info to get the attachment limit because it's not getting reported from the node side if you
Mhm.
opt into this feature.
Yeah. Yeah, so why I'm proposing another node get ID call, because this really seems to be like two mode rather than the variant of the existing mode.
but then you also said you would propose adding to it over time, in which case it will turn into like get node ID plus a bunch of stuff, which sounds a lot like get node info to me.
Yeah.
So like from a naming perspective, I like keeping the get node info name and
Yeah,
having two
repetition.
RPCs where we're not going to deprecate either of them forces every SP to figure out like, well, do I implement one? Do I implement the other? Do I implement both? It's going to become confusing for the SP authors. Just having one where we say you have to implement it and you're allowed to omit some fields if this input is true seems harder to get confused about, even if it's a little gross.
Mm, okay.
I just I've written several SPs and Yeah, the idea of having to implement two get node infos doesn't seem appealing. I'd much rather have one and just leave some fields blank.
Yeah, so we basically make every field optional, except in the ID.
I think, well, for backwards compatibility reasons, new fields always have to be optional, right? Because there's some ancient version of Kubernetes out there, or some ancient SP out there that only returns the ID from get node info, and modern Kubernetes have to be compatible with ancient SPs that don't know about any of this stuff. So every new field we add will always be optional. And we use capabilities to specify like whether the field is actually present or not, or whether the CO can rely on the field being present is advertised in a capability rather than in the RPC spec. This is just one of the downsides of using gRPC with not doing major version bumps, is that everything has to be backwards compatible forever. And we just have to be careful about how we evolve the API so that nothing ever breaks.
So the SP advertises the get ID capabilities. CO knows, okay, it can use it. It sets it in the node, get info request, and the SP responds accordingly. If we just did the new RPC, then the CO sees, okay, I can use that, and I'll make node get ID separate RPC and let
But
the other
that
thing.
means the CO is maintaining two RPCs forever and SPs are maintaining two RPCs forever, especially if we start adding more stuff to the new RPC that people want to implement.
Yeah, I don't see how we can deprecate node get info ever.
Yeah. So
So
I would rather just keep node get info as the kitchen sink API that gets all the info until there's like a performance concern or a scalability concern around it, which I don't think there is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and the Kubernetes will still primarily function based on capabilities. It's not like it will prefer one approach or the other. It will use the old topology and allocatable count as it does if the capability is not present. It
Yeah,
seems so.
the
Yeah.
issue is that capabilities only communicate from SP to CO. The only
Mhm.
way the CO can communicate to the SP that like, hey, I am a newer version is by some optional input parameter to an existing RPC.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only signaling mechanism we have to say that the version of the CO that's calling you is newer.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't
Okay.
quite catch the part about the context, to be honest, like the node context. Yeah.
So you know how we have volume contexts and publish contexts, which the SP provides to the CO and the CO stores in the PV object and the volume attachment object respectively,
Mm-hmm.
and then gets passed back into the SP. Like something that is equivalent to those, but from the node, where the node could provide some information that Kubernetes would store and then pass back into the SP for certain calls would be extremely powerful. Like one example is like think of like an iSCSI IQN, right? Only the node knows what its IQN is, um, typically, and the CO needs to know it. Or sorry, the controller part of the SP needs to know it to do iSCSI masking appropriately, and so you need a way to pass it from the node to the controller. And what a lot of SPs will do is actually put the IQN into the node ID. But if you have lots of things like that, IQN plus a bunch of other parameters that the node needs to communicate to the controller, you can't fit them all in the node ID, and you end up having to do something else. And so having a full string map that the node could return that would get stored somewhere that then could get passed back in would allow nodes to communicate lots of information from the node to the controller in a way that was consistent. But I still have a suspicion that something about this won't work, but we can think it through again.
Yeah. My thought is that we have discussed that what if the SP want to combine the info from node, right? And currently we ignored any info fetched from node. So if SP really want to combine info from node, then we maybe need a way to support it. So my
So
idea is
what was
that,
the word? Were you saying combine or?
yeah,
Like
combine.
the like
So
the iSCSI information that I think you're talking about
Oh, okay.
combined.
Well, yeah. Usually there's just a bunch of stuff that you want to communicate from the
yeah,
node to the controller.
Has there
maybe
been a use case for that? I don't know. Like I haven't come across yet, Ben.
Well, so when I was at NetApp, we had
Mm,
an SP that did both iSCSI and NFS, and
okay.
so the controller, in order to do its job properly, needed to know for every node what is that node's IQN and what are all of the IP addresses that it may use for NFS. Um, and so combining an IQN plus a list of IP addresses into the node ID proved to be impossible. Even if you like JSON encode it and compress it and whatever, you can have like 6 IP addresses, or they can be IPv6 addresses. It's an arbitrary length amount of information. You can't rely on shoving into 128 bytes.
Can,
So
can the can the controller plugin not use the node ID and fetch that information out of band, but it cannot be
but out of
fetched
band of
from
what? Like
control
that
plug.
that's what
Oh,
is the out
okay.
of band thing, right?
Yeah, there's no controller call that
Yeah,
controller plugin
the
can make.
CO is the communication mechanism. And so what 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 we did at NetApp is actually provide an API mechanism where the node could talk directly to the controller and
Mm-hmm.
tell it. But that creates huge security concerns, because now you need a security mechanism between every node and the controller. And it's an attack vector for attackers who do container breakouts and take over their node. It allows them to go through that door to attack all the other nodes. It's very bad.
But
Um,
it sounds like the case of like where the storage provider doesn't really have a control plane. Like how to say
Correct,
it? Like
but there's a lot of just storage devices out there where it's just a storage device and a bunch of software, and they implement a CSI driver, but they don't have a control plane, and they're relying on Kubernetes to do all the heavy lifting. Um, and for those, you're stuck. Like, yes, if you go implement your own control plane, that solves all of the problems, because then everyone just relies on the control plane to do everything, and you're fine. But
Mhm.
so there's a lot of storage vendors that just don't have that. They just have a bunch of boxes and software. Um,
So there
and
are ways, I mean, to work around it, but I don't know if the CSS
yeah, I
spec
mean,
change is the right place, but yeah,
there's
for that.
over 100 CSI drivers, and they've all found ways to work around this today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just a little gross.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
like the vSphere work around this controller get info by creating CRs that controller creates and the node waits for it to be created and then returns the topology information.
But that means now your node needs to have a Kubernetes
Yeah, yeah,
a kube config, and it means you're going to have a massive fan-in problem at your kube API server, because all the nodes now are talking to it.
yeah.
It has scaling issues. It's not good. So if we can plumb it through kubelet, it solves a lot of security issues, a lot of scaling issues. It would be nice
Yeah,
to
no.
get it right someday.
Yeah. No, but I want to punt the probably the context problem
Yeah, yes.
question.
It's a separate, unrelated enhancement,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's one that it's near to my heart, because I face this at NetApp, and I definitely see the problem.
hmm
And
I,
and having it just a generalized mechanism allows a bunch of new things to come in the future that we haven't even imagined yet.
mhm. No, like related to that, I put this in the volume health spec also. Like there's a problem that a lot of providers are encoding in volume ID they're encoding information about which backend that volume is. And that information is like is opaque to CO, and it creates a lot of ugly issues actually. But that's a different thing. And I think in general, like I like the idea of getting this ID only, and yeah, if everyone can update the proposal, it should be okay, I think.
I think a node context should be a separate proposal that this may or may not
Yeah.
depend on.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, I agree with decoupling the enhancements.
Yeah.
So for this one, I mean, it sounds like we're aligned on using node get info, right? Adding a field to it and just continuing to extend node get info.
I think we agree that functionally it solves all of the problems, and there's some ergonomic concerns about it. But I have my opinion
Yeah.
about prioritizing existing SP implementations, not having to change.
Yeah.
And yeah, that looks good to me. And I think my only concern is that we need to find a better name for ID only.
Sure. Yeah. I just threw that out there because it means what it says, but we can come up with something that's even clearer. And when we can wordsmith around, making it very clear what the SP's responsibility is and the CO's responsibility is for every field, if that input is true or false, or absent, whatever.
Yeah, maybe we can just extend it with something like a CO capability thing that we pass to SP.
Yeah. I mean, we could do something even more sophisticated, but we don't want to gold plate it too much. Like if a Boolean's all we really need, and we know that in the future we can just add more Booleans,
Yeah.
then it's probably fine to just do a minimal thing for this time around.
Dad, what Boolean we future will want to add here?
We're proposing adding an optional Boolean to the input node get info request, and we're
Yeah.
saying you could imagine doing this again with some future field that we add next year.
Yeah.
And so the question is there a cleaner way to do that? And I'm saying let's just add multiple Booleans.
Like what? Like, okay, give me maximum volume per node. Give me that information. Add another Boolean that says that.
What? No, like this node
Context.
context information. Imagine we add node context in some future iteration, and the content of it is returned in get node info because that's the logical place to put it. And then we want to allow the CO to control whether that's returned or not. Like we just add another Boolean to the input.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
fine.
the context may be expensive to fetch, and SP may want to only return it when the CO really support it.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm okay. So I will try to figure out the name.
Okay. We've got another meeting in like 2 minutes. Xing, is that meeting happening?
Yes. So so this one, so we're good. I guess we're done, right? So we can conclude this meeting then. And then we can talk. Okay, let's see if we can get those merged. Then we can talk about the release.
Yeah, and I've got those two PRs open in my browser to review.
Right.
Thank you.
Release. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.